big hand is on the one.
We're on.
We're on. Oh, fantastic. It was unfortunate because you did miss out on some of the best guitar playing I've ever done. It was extraordinary. But, you know, them's the breaks. Hey, everyone. Welcome to That Pedal Show Viewers, Comments and Questions Live. Dan here.
Mick here, hello!
Mick has the comm. He is out there twiddling his knobs and making magic happen. Good job too, man, because I got no idea what you're doing back there.
Well, I don't really. Sorry about that,
And yet
everyone.
somehow it always works.
I know. It's always a race to the end. It's a continually moving target. Welcome to Comments and Questions.
Oh, nice.
For those of you who are new, a special welcome. For those of you who are here a lot, a very special welcome.
Yes.
We do this every Monday. We talk about things. You can ask us anything you like, preferably about guitars, pedals and effects. But, you know, anything. We're happy.
Yes.
Being the polymaths that we are. Not. Experts in many fields, Dan.
Yeah, that field over there.
Yeah, I've been in many fields.
Field over there.
Yeah, yeah. Why did the Scarecrow win a prize?
I don't know, Mick. Why did the Scarecrow?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
There you go.
Yeah, there we are.
you go.
There we are. No, not install. Not install. Remind me tomorrow.
Okay, very good. My wife made me do one of those online personality tests.
Yes.
I think I have to go and see someone. Judging from the results of my online personality test, I need to go and make an appointment.
You need to read about the validity of those sorts of tests.
I don't know.
Lots of them are invented by organisations to make their strata work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of, you know, there are those of them that are used by organisations and that are very well respected. But yeah, there's a lot in all of that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. They're certainly manipulated by organisations.
Right. Oh, there you go. I'll tell my wife she'll be disappointed because she thought, finally we understand why.
Yeah. Okay. Roll call then. Massive thank you to BV for adjudicating.
Indeed. BV, you legend superstar.
We'll call it adjudicating. It's also called moderating, but I think some days it can be like adjudicating. Thank you, BV. We are extremely grateful. Thank you. Wes Chilton says, haha, what a title.
I only just saw it before we came. I was like, yeah, man, great.
I had to do it in a hurry.
I don't know, do you know what a boomer bend is?
I keep meaning to watch the videos.
I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's that bend, right? I'm probably completely wrong. This is what I think it might be, right? So it might be, it might be your...
I think it's that. It's
where you're bending sharp.
I think it's just any rock bend up to the tonic.
I thought it was if you go well, you're just bending a little bit sharp. It's like da-na-na, hey.
No, I think it's my guess is you may be able to enlighten us. I think it's people that are too cool, thinking that old school lead guitar playing is a bit naff. I think is what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
It might be. Enlighten us. I'd like to know. Good morning to my beautiful team of TPS from Vancouver, says Blanca Escobar. Hello to Vancouver. BV Ninja, you are an amazing modulator. I'll be missing the Q&A as life requires me to go and produce, so I'm able to consume.
Very good.
Nice. Plexico must send super chat addict. Thank you, Plexico. You are indeed first this week. Paddy, hello Paddy.
Paddy, he's on, Paddy.
Wonderful bass player. Also plays bass in the TPS band, but also does actual musical things. He says, I wonder if Mick watched Rossi's final race with a tear in his eye yesterday. I watched the highlights, Pad. I didn't watch the whole thing. Valentino Rossi.
Oh.
Some would say the greatest motorcycle racer who's ever lived.
Right.
Is bowing out. He's been doing MotoGP for a long time, and I don't know if he's had 8 or 7, might be 9 world titles, lots of world titles anyway.
Right.
Much loved as he is. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it, Paddy, because BT Sport is literally impossible to watch.
Okay. So does he ride one of those like Pee Wee 50s and
exactly that? Yeah, a little Honda monkey bike. Yeah, like the two fat guys hanging over the edge. He's that guy. No, he says he's motorbike racing. You go faster down the corners, you go faster down the straights. He's motorbike racing.
Very good.
Sorry for my valet impression there. Hero as he is to me. Hope you're doing all right, Paddy. Barla O'Shea. Monday. Magic Man says there's a sick USA G&L Legacy on Reverb right now for only 800. Wish I could spring for it. So much good stuff out there. So much good stuff. We are still looking for the Ampeg, by the way, Pad. They're frightening money at the moment. So
we do have an amazing amplifier, though. I mean, it's a guitar amp, but it's an amazing bass amp as well.
Yeah. So your friend John, is his name John?
Yes.
Donated it to us, and it's got two of the biggest power valves I've ever seen in the back. They must be KT88s or something.
KT 188s.
And it's flipping great. So we got it back. We're going to do a bit more band stuff tomorrow. Sorry, Paddy, still without you. Still the 3-piece. Just to keep it tight and make sure we do know what we're doing. And it sounds great.
Yeah. For anyone who's interested, check out Wallace Amplifiers. A bit of British history there. That's amps from 1965.
That is amazing. I can't believe
and it sounds unbelievable.
There's no transformer hum.
No. It's So, just a time when a gentleman said, you know what, I'm going to make the best amp money can buy, and just did, and made a bunch of them. And then there's still a few examples around, and they're just extraordinary things.
It's an incredible thing. I tell you what, the EQ is. It's a guitar amp, by the way. It's not. Well, I'm using it for bass, but the EQ is perfect for bass. The way it works.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Anyway, Marcus Reeves is on from Reeves Electro. I actually had lunch with Marcus on Saturday, which was very nice. We had a lovely chat. Marcus, I hope it's peaking less. I've actually put a de-esser on the vocals.
He's taken what you said to heart.
I have. Not to heart.
He came in this morning with a tear in his eye. He said...
Marcus says it sounds a bit peaky.
I said, I told you!
Anyway, so if it sounds a bit woolly, I've got too much DS on. Do let us know. We care about these things. Hope you got back safely, Marcus. It was a lovely lunch. Hi from Lyon, where it's starting to get a bit chilly, says Alan R. Johnson.
Hello from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Greg Grayson. Fantastic.
There's a wonderful song on Bootsy's The Funk Capital of the World, which is about 2 albums ago from Bootsy Collins, where Samuel L. Jackson does a song.
Oh, okay.
Sammy J.
Right, Sammy J.
And he talks about how he came up from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it's really brilliant.
Have you seen... sorry, did you say...
Samuel L. Jackson.
I thought you said Sammy Davis Jr.
No.
I'm saying, have you seen his drum solo? But
different
anyway,
Sam.
It's different Sam.
Different Sam.
Different Junior. Different Jackson.
Okay.
A boomer bend is where you bend a pinky, the note underneath, creating a major third.
Like Steve Lukather.
So what? So
like in Rosanna. Oh, is it that? Okay.
That's a minor third.
It's not where you go.
Well,
not that.
No, so it must be.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I thought you meant that bit that Lukather does, which is not that, and it reminded me of the awesome Rosanna solo.
Yeah, so there's your major third. Yeah, anyway. Apparently it's a boom bend. And it's the bend of the hour. It's a sensation sweeping across the nation. Right, here we go. David Thomas says it's those bends you hear in dad rock guitar solos.
That's what I thought it was.
Okay, well there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah, like
just a bend.
It's a bend that requires a guitar face. Because all the cool kids who don't like that kind of music use flat wound 13s on a Jazzmaster. You can't do that bend.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Josh Smith.
Oh, I think we'll just let that slide.
I think if you're going to be sniffy about types of music, you just don't know enough about music.
Yeah, I agree.
Is the truth of the matter. And it does make me laugh that everyone thinks they're so flipping cool they can slag everyone else's music off. It's like, come on, grow up. It's all good. It's all
If
good.
Tay-Tay has taught us anything.
You tread carefully now.
I love Tay-Tay.
Good.
She's amazing.
We were listening to... So Taylor Swift is getting back all the masters for her records or creating new ones. I don't really understand how it works. She released Red yesterday, which is actually my... Neck and neck with 1989 is my favourite Tay-Tay record. And I know the record really well, so I've been listening to it and listening to the differences they've made on the new masters. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I want to hear her Romeo and Juliet new version. Yeah, she's great.
She is great. But did she do something in the film then?
No, that song she did.
I don't know that one.
Okay, we'll listen to it on the way home.
Okay. Yeah, wow. How do I not know that?
That's great. It's like the Disney. It's like I'm gonna.
Yeah, the one with the guy singing.
No, it's no, it's
I'm worried. I'm really worried.
okay. Sorry, I'm useless. Matt 5X says, "Hey Dan, how high do you set the action on your telly?"
Love Story. I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't understand the Romeo and Juliet
Oh, okay.
connection.
Right.
Okay.
There you go. It's medium. I don't know. It's not. I did a vlog a little while ago about the difference action can make, and when I used to do all the nonsense, not that's nonsense, but it was nonsense when I played it, and I had action as low as I could get it. But as soon as I wanted to get some tone and stuff, I found it hard to create with super low action. So I found that with the action raised a bit, it took my fingers a while to get used to it, but the notes didn't choke and the guitar would ring and resonate. So, it's not crazy low, but it's enough to let the guitar sing.
What I find interesting about action is when you just sat around, and actually even when we're recording the show, sometimes the guitar can feel a bit of a fight and quite tough. The minute I get to a gig or when I'm doing actual proper playing and recording,
You want that.
it's got to go up.
Absolutely.
Because it seems like I engage with the guitar in an entirely different way than I do when we're sat here doing this.
Totally.
And I don't know what that is. The only thing I can liken it to, having never been a racing driver, is being a racing driver.
Right.
Like, you go to the shops in your car, to Sainsbury's in your normal car, and you just drive it. I mean, this is not a very good analogy because you don't race the same car that you drive to the shops, but the way you drive the car when you're racing is very different, and
Sure.
I think it's that.
Right.
Quickly, let's move on, Dan. Maybe they didn't notice.
Maybe.
Let's get into it then. Plexico, you are first. He says, "Greetings, D&M. Have you ever tried a Nacho caster? Any manufacturers you like that enhance Leo Fender's original Tele-style and F-style guitars, T-style and S-style guitars? Cheers from LA." Now then, is Nacho the guy that did the Blackguard book?
Isn't that Nacho Telecaster?
Is it Nacho? I think it might be.
Isn't
Nacho Banos. Yeah, it
Right.
is.
I thought it was like you've stolen that Telecaster because it's Nacho Telecaster.
Nice.
Like that.
Nice. That's pretty good.
I was hanging on in there for a while.
Yeah. No, I've never tried one, never got close to one. But the book is, I mean, if anyone is going to make a good non-Fender T-style guitar, it's going to be him, isn't it?
Right.
Have you seen the Blackguard book?
No. Oh yes, of course, because I have it.
It's properly insane.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Really wonderful.
Yeah, who else makes good T-style? Anyone that is careful about the wood selection, the finish process, and there's a lot of good ones out there. The ones I like are those Danish ones. Har guitars, is it? H-A-H-A-A-R, is that them?
Yes.
Never actually played a Danacaster, but they always look amazing on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I would imagine they're very nice indeed.
Mm-hmm.
As for enhancements, honestly, I don't want them. Because then it's something else.
Yeah.
I
had a really interesting experience with that last week, actually.
Right.
Played a really high spec telly, a few adjustments. Just wasn't a telly anymore.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it?
Really interesting.
And that's not to say worse or better. It's just to say it's different.
Yeah.
And there is
Not
something
exactly not a telly in the way that I expect to pick up a Telecaster and go, and there's a sound that I'm expecting to hear. It's like, yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, anything you do to make it play easier makes it sound different. Anything you do to make it sound different makes it sound different. and that's, you might want that. So if you're really hacked off with the way resonant feedback happens in the bridge of the telly, Dan, by the way, Red has started doing that quite badly. We need to sort it out.
What's that?
There's a real nasty resonance that's just occurred in the bridge of Red.
Are you serious?
I heard it today on the audio we were doing. It's feedback, really serious feedback. Some it's rattling. So we just need.
It's been so good for so long. I don't want to touch it.
It'll be easy enough. So if you've got a specific problem like that, and Tom Anderson's a good example of separating the bridge plate from where the pickup is in order to stop some of those resonance and squeals happening. So if you've got a specific problem that you need, or you can't play a curvy 7 1/4 board and you need a 9 1/2 or a 12. That makes sense. If you can't deal with the noisy pickups and you want noiseless pickups, absolutely move along but don't think that those things don't come at the cost of something in the original design, which for some people, I'll just say again, is entirely 100% a good thing.
Right.
For me, it's usually always a less good thing, just because I'm so used to those things as they are.
Yeah, totally.
And that is a pure personal preference thing. There's no good, better, best, worst about it. It's purely personal preference. I got quite into Andersons for a minute there.
My guitar teacher has a superb Tom Anderson S-style guitar, and it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. But it is different.
It is, yes. It's a different thing, which
Yeah.
may or may not suit you.
Yeah.
So, that said, I would imagine that a Nachocaster Plexico is just about as close to a vintage T as you are likely to ever find. Probably
Yes.
more so than the modern custom shop ones, I would imagine, judging by his book.
But if it is a Nachocaster, make sure you give it back. That's all I'm saying.
Michael, hello Michael from Canada. Thank you for your generosity. He says, "Hey guys, the only Strat I've ever played is my 1989 Eric Clapton. Am I missing out? Should I swap out the lace sensors? With what? Thanks, and I love the show." No, don't swap
touch
them
it.
out. Don't touch it.
Don't touch that guitar.
Just get another Strat.
Yep. It is what it is, and they're fantastic. But grab something different.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. Yes. So a Strat like my blue one, for example, would be a very different guitar to that in so many ways.
Yep.
Not as different as a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Or a Telly.
Yep.
But pretty different.
Yeah.
And I guess you're just going to have to play some to decide, because it's most likely that you're very bonded with that guitar. You know how it works. Sort of the opposite of what I was just saying about me and that spec. When I play something like an EC or an Anderson or something that's very different, I can't play it because I've been doing that for 30 years. And familiarity is, a huge part of that. So, don't change that guitar. It's a real classic.
Yep.
And I think it deserves to stay that way.
Definitely. If it hasn't been tinkered with before, just leave it, because it's
I mean, I suppose in the next breath we should say that there's nothing actually stopping you just whipping out the whole pickguard assembly and putting a whole new one in, so you don't do anything that's irreparable.
That has the boost on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might be.
So there'll be a battery connection.
So there's be a bit of work to do to do that. It's not as easy as will be with some Strats. However, I'd say look at something else. I'd say don't touch it.
Tom's are ringing nicely today, Dan.
Yeah,
we're gonna do more band filming tomorrow.
We've got Doug coming in tomorrow.
Yeah. David Rustad. Hello, David.
Hello, David.
Unbridled happiness from Thorpe's Heavy Water. Dual boost this weekend. Clean up on the right. G diodes on the left for some clip. Thanks to Thorpe and you guys for teaching me what a boost is. Oh, joy. Have we got one of those? I think we do, you know.
We do somewhere, but it's not here. I think it's in my area.
I've never actually listened to it. I assumed it was a chorus called The Heavy Water.
No, that's the deep organ, the chorus. I don't know if we do have one.
We do, because I've seen a box.
Really?
Yeah, when I was trying to find something yesterday.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah. Nice. Glad you like it, David. Steve Mass. Hello, Steve. Could each of you demonstrate your first go-to licks you used in your first bands?
Yeah, easy.
Really? In your first band?
Yeah, man. Who was this?
In your first band?
Absolutely. My first
How old
ever
were you
gig.
in your first band?
16.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, my first ever gig. The guys made me do like an unaccompanied guitar solo, like hero guitar solo. And I sat there going. It was Derek.
Derek?
It was Nigel Tufnell, and I really expressed myself through my solos.
First thing I ever played in a band on stage was Caroline by Status Quo. I was 12 years old, and I had to play
do, 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 do. I don't begin to know it.
And the other guy...
Somehow this beat is going strong.
Yeah, different Caroline Dan. Was called Vernon Smith, and Vernon played the... That's the first thing I ever played live on stage, so that... But the first lick I ever remember learning, which was like a lick that I thought I'd made up,
right?
that was a lick that I liked, was a blues lick, and it went... Which I didn't make up at all.
Mick is now demonstrating the blues lick. Beautiful.
In A. It's probably a bastardization of a Chuck Berry lick or something like that. Yeah. There you go. That was a boomer bend.
Was
Boomer bend by a 13-year-old.
certainly boomer tuning.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. He says the Kurt Mangan Dan strings are ace.
Oh, thank you, Matt. I love them. I've started tuning down to E flat for this new band, just to give it some, and essential to have that 11 to 52 girth. Lovely.
Yeah, for a little bit of
extra
tension.
Got to have a bit of tension there. Yeah.
Matt Lloyd, hello, Matt.
G'day, mate.
Lovely to hear from you.
Yeah.
He says, hey guys, just want to say thanks for all you do. You are loved and greatly appreciated.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Matt.
that.
That's very kind of you. Bimo Adigunapputra. Bimo Adigunapputra. Not sure where you're from. He says, hi gents, no BS, but you guys are the best thing that happened to me during the pandemic.
Oh, mate, that's very kind.
That's good to hear. Thank you, legends.
You must have had a really bad pandemic. So sorry to hear
simple
that.
cue. What's the easiest way to remove a pedal from a pedal board with dual lock? Yeah, this is a nightmare.
So if you've got dual lock on both sides of the pedal, it can be really tricky. If you've got a butter knife, there you go. If you've got dual lock on the pedal and you've got hook Velcro, then a butter knife works perfectly. If you've got dual lock on both sides, like dual lock on the board and dual lock on the pedal, you'll need something to pry it with. Mick is now going to demonstrate the butter knife technique.
An awesome knife, fuzz face, hand. Take your knife, stick it in your hand, no, between the pedal and the pedal board. work through the dual lock and the Velcro and off it comes. But as you say, that is harder if it's 2 lots of dual lock.
Yeah.
And you do need to sort of get in there and wiggle it a bit.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Wes Chilton says, I use a plastic panel removal tool. That's a really good one. Plastic as opposed to metal, so it won't scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Hope that works for you, Bimo. Andre Decon, or Andre Decan, depending on where you come from. He says, hello, Leggins. Have I learnt anything from watching months of TPS? My pedal order into a Tone King Gremlin is Keeley Oxblood, Thorpe the Dane, Polytune Mini 3, which is buffered.
Yes.
Keeley Caverns version 2 and a Boss RC5.
Come on.
We think that's how we do it.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Great. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you for your generosity, Andre.
Yeah, thank you, Andre. Really
Guitar
appreciate
Guy 88, thank you for your generosity from Canada. He says, challenge idea. You each go to a different used guitar shop and you have to put a board together with whatever pedals you happen to run across.
I love that.
That could get really expensive really quickly.
For fun, though.
Yeah.
They got 10-day money-back guarantee, haven't they?
Coda Music in Stevenage have got a Sound Tank, Ibanez Tube Screamer Sound Tank 5, and if somebody doesn't buy it tonight, I'm going to buy it tomorrow.
Okay.
It's many say the worst Tube Screamer that they ever made.
Okay.
But I think it's important for the collection.
I like
So
that.
if someone doesn't buy it tonight, I'm going to buy it tomorrow.
Because the Tube Screamer collection is looking really healthy.
Yeah, well, we got a 9, a couple of 808s, a 10. Yeah, still haven't got a vintage one, but one of the shows we're going to do tomorrow is SD1, because somebody, and please forgive me, I've forgotten who it was asking in one of these VCQs what a good alternative to an SD1 was, or what alternative to a Tube Screamer.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we're going to do some band filming with SD1, Tube Screamer, BD2, and a ODR1 from Nobles.
Yep.
Just to hear some of those in a really basic band mix.
Because they're all classic lower gain drives, but that you can walk into a guitar shop and buy.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing boutique or send away and waiting list for. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're classics, and yeah, it'd be great to hear them in a band mix.
The BXLer. Hey guys, loving the live band stuff. As an Iridium owner myself, I'm very excited to see you going direct. Also, New Guitar Day, just got a gold top 50s with Lola P90s, having schwang after work.
Lovely.
Nice. Enjoy those Lolas. I think they really do make a big difference to a P90 Gibson. Don't be too annoyed with the direct show on Friday. Dan and I are doing our best to love it, and I think it's fair to say we get some okay tones, don't we?
We get some okay tones.
And some actually pretty good tones.
Hearing it recorded is a whole different world.
Yeah, it's a much nicer experience hearing them recorded than actually being in the room. Your revelation was quite interesting. I edited it this morning, that's why it's fresh in my brain. Dan's like, look, the problem isn't the tone, the problem is playing quietly.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe it is. So,
yeah. It's because there's nothing there, there's no feedback.
Yeah.
If you get those tones cranked, then it'll work. But for whatever reason, the experience is so vastly different when then I can't. Yeah. I just sound like a goon.
Yeah.
Playing like that,
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I suspect it's a lot more enjoyable if you got it nice and loud in your ears.
There you go.
With a band mix, that's probably a different thing.
Yeah.
But you still don't get.
You don't get that.
You don't get that thing which happens with speakers and pickups and human bodies and all of that. That just none of that's there anymore. And
I think it's going to end up being like everyone in ears, the crowd sat down with headphones on and adjustable mixers.
Yeah.
The people in the band will have like gamer suits on with all vibrations and stuff. We'll have like interactive transducers stuck to the guitars so that we can select the guitar frequencies to interact with the body of the guitars to get a bit of feedback. and it'll just be a big video game.
And by
at the end.
by about 2090, the internet will actually work, and you can just sit. Everyone can just stay at home and do all of that.
Yeah.
Sit in
And
a
Line
chair.
6 will come out with those that really sounds like
It really
this
does
year.
sound like Valves this year. Sorry, Line 6. Yeah, and then we'll just all be able to stay at home and do it all. We won't have to go out and be with humans or feel any of this interaction.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
Oh boy. Michael Gilberto. Hello, Michael. Question. We do a frequency sweep to test speakers. What about testing pickups? Thanks for the weekly wisdom and fun.
A frequency sweep to test pickups. So your pickups will have, if you look at Seymour Duncan's site, they'll tell you...
Go and see Henry.
Yeah, which frequencies the pickups are stronger at.
Resonant frequency.
Well, there's they have the resonant peak and the pickups, but they'll be like, you'll have a bass, mid, treble chart, and it'll tell you, well, this one has got, lower mids and higher trebles and stuff. It's difficult because you need to do it. You need to create something vibrating through the magnetic field to do that.
Doesn't it change with impedance as well?
It all changes with impedance. Yeah, so it's trickier to do. But I like what Seymour Duncan have done with that sort of a basic guide as far as EQ is concerned, how, these pickups will be a bit tighter, a bit fatter.
I've got to turn the super chats off, I'm afraid, because we've got lots which we are extremely grateful for. So if you've super chatted to this point, we will answer you. But please, no more super chats, as we are full at the inn. Which I think was quite a nice seasonal reference, don't you, Dan?
I do.
Yeah. We're going to go off
I
and
wouldn't
have
mind being
this
full at the inn. Is that a reference to our Christmas party?
VCQ baby in a manger somewhere in a stable.
With King's X coming over the hill delivering gifts.
Only 3 of them, though.
There- Very good.
It'll be flipping Chappers and Pete Honoré and Captain Anderson, won't it?
Chasing us with sticks.
I don't know how manufacturers test their, in order to publish their specs, what tests they do, and also the I suppose it's the same with a speaker in a way that you don't know what it's going on the end of, but with a pickup you don't know what guitar it's going in, so that is the huge variable, because what the guitar is doing will make a big difference to what the pickup does. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but it does.
Yep.
How it's mounted, what pots you connect it to, etc., etc.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there are people who like understanding things by visual means, graphs and scopes and stuff. Because I'm entirely non-scientific, I've never been interested in any of that. I just plug it in and listen, and because it doesn't make any sense to me to see it.
Right.
It might be something to do with the way my brain works.
Very special.
Pet Moxie says, Celestian Gold 10.
Nice.
Back tomorrow after your suggestion for the Princeton stock swap. I'm slightly anxious about the DIY part. Do you have any advice or pitfalls to avoid?
Yes. First time I ever swapped a speaker, I had just turned 18. I got a loan for some gear, which followed me for years. And I got some Black Shadow...
PVs.
And put them in this Yamaha amp that I had. And I was at a gig, and I was so excited. Took the nuts off, got the speaker, trying to make it fit.
Straight through
the speaker.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was going to say.
Most importantly, take your time, don't rush. Take the nuts off. What you want to make sure is that the connections on the speaker that the speaker is orientated to get the connections from the amplifier.
Yep.
So, just make sure that generally the tabs on the speaker will be going straight up. So make sure that's orientated to being vertical or, as close as you can to that.
Wherever it is currently, because that's where the wire will reach
Exactly. So make sure that's orientated. Also, don't do the nuts up too tight when you put the speaker in and you put the nuts back on the speaker. So let's say you've got most amplifiers, most cabinets, the speaker is rear loading, unless you've got a cabinet like, I say, a Hampstead, which has got a front loaded speaker. But with a rear loaded speaker, the speaker goes, it touches the back of the baffle. And when you put the nut on, if you tighten that nut up too much, you'll alter the shape of the, what do they call it? The
frame.
The frame, and the speaker, the cone won't move the way it's supposed to. It needs to be secure, but don't crank it down with like a,
tighten them equally. So tighten them all sort of
Very
finger
important.
tight, and then do a bit like you would do a drum head. Tighten that one down a bit, and then the opposite one, and go around the speaker. And as he says, tight but not flat. So you flatten the
basket.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thanks, Dan.
No worries. That makes a big difference.
Yeah. The other thing, I'm not quite sure what's in the back of a modern Princeton, but there might be a cage over the output tubes, so access might be tough. So just do yourself a favour, take that panel off. Obviously, have the amp unplugged and not into the mains or anything like that. It might be that the preamp and power amp tubes are floating in the way.
Yeah.
Take them out.
Yeah.
Make a note of where they go, and just take them out carefully so that you don't hit them with the speaker because it's pretty compact in there in a little box.
Yep. And one thing that we've done to great effect.
Put the amp down flat down on its face.
There you go. Once you've got that in and everything's working, if you turn the amp on and you plug your guitar in, you go, oh, I'm disappointed. Don't be disappointed. It takes a little while for the speaker to break in. So a really great thing to do is just play a loop, and play a loop with loads of,
loads of bass in it.
Loads of bass in it, and sort of get that moving. And then just leave it throw some blankets over the speaker, the cabinet, give it some love, and just get that speaker working for a bit, and then come back in an hour and you'll be surprised the difference it makes.
I did see some specs from a manufacturer, how they break in their speakers before they send them off for reviews and stuff and testing. And that was pretty serious. Like, it was 50 hertz, sine wave 50 hertz at a certain dBV, is it volts, decibel? Is it dBV?
Yes.
There was a voltage. I don't know. I don't understand physics. It was quite a serious signal for quite a prolonged amount of time. The speaker was getting some stick for a while. So, the speaker does need to be broken in as well, as he said. And that'll happen much more easily with bass frequencies than it will with treble ones.
Sure.
So good luck.
Good luck. So BV's just sent me through this. It's a question from 3R080. Any guidance of how I can power my old Emperor Super Delay? It's 9 to 12 volts DC, 300 milliamp with a 2.1 millimeter positive tip. Center positive. All right. So 12 volts is a supernova, but we just put a reverse polarity cable adapter on the end of the supernova.
Dan sells a bunch of high current adapters, if you're not familiar, and they come in various options of different voltages voltages mainly. So he does one called a supernova.
Yeah, and that's the 12 volts. And but the center, which normally is center negative, right? Your Boss style jack's center negative. But some pedals like this, that is reverse. So part of the VIC-P thing, VIC-P, voltage, current, polarity, and isolation. The polarity is that polarity of the connection. So if it's normally center negative, but like this, if it center positive, then you can get reverse polarity cable adapters that you can just pop on the end and it'll flip that polarity. So yeah, our stuff, it's a supernova with a reverse polarity cable adapter popped on the end of the supernova and you'll be good to go.
And then that has to plug into any 9-volt DC supply that has enough mumbo to
Enough current
to get 300 milliamps out. So if you're up in the voltage, that means it's got to have more than 300 milliamps in, right?
Correct. Very good.
Yeah, there you go. Failing that, go onto Amazon and they sell every kind of DC adapter and every kind of voltage and polarity you could ever require. As long as you know what it is, they'll sell one.
There you go.
Eric Zenhausen from the United States of America says, great show on the Deluxe Reverb and Princeton Reverb recently. I purchased a 65 Princeton Reverb with Celestion G1265. Nice. It's great, but it hardly needs pedals. Even the Harmonious Monk seems superfluous.
Oh, heavens.
What 3 pedals would you use with a Princeton?
A boost. It depends how you're running it, right? If you're... So I've got a Princeton, well, I'm putting the board together for tomorrow, and I've got a little Princeton in there, and I've got it barely ticking over. And run like that with loads of headroom, anything sounds great into it. But if you're saying that you're turning your Princeton up and it sounds amazing, then, a boost, and a boost. Maybe a very short slapback delay would be really cool. I love modulation into that. I think a phaser into that sort of amp gain sounds just wonderful. And boost. Yeah. Short slapback delay, phaser and a boost for me.
Yeah, I'd go tube screamer and a delay of some kind is what I would have.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and that's only 2, I know, but that 2 would be enough.
Yeah, and my boost you'd have the ability to shape the bass frequencies, so be able to limit what bass frequencies are going in there.
Nice,
lovely.
Enjoy that. Rob Brindley. Hello, Rob. Hello, Legends. Thanks for the advice on the telly last week. You were right. The pickups are great. Recently started working from home, and you guys have given me hours of entertainment. Keep it up.
Oh, that's great, mate.
Thanks, Rob.
You're so welcome.
Hope you enjoy working from home and are experimenting with different clothing alternatives for the working at home.
I had a Zoom meeting this morning, and the part that you could see was more than respectable.
Business up top,
business up top, party down below, baby. You better believe it.
It is kind of interesting that as humans, we're sort of fixed on the outside and entirely broken on the inside, isn't it? I mean, that might be why we are where we are.
Sure. Yeah, I reckon if there was another camera for all these Zoom meetings actually showing the truth, that'd be, let's show the real face of humanity.
Gareth sending me a text message. Gareth, sorry man, Gareth and I were going to talk about recording today. It's Gareth Johnson, and I asked his advice on some stuff for recording, and I managed not to call him today. Gareth, I'm so sorry, mate. He says, don't laugh. I think he's about to send me a picture of something.
Is this going to be?
He's found a guitar.
This is okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
as long as it's not going to be some. I found the solution. Here's half a dozen Neve channel strips.
Yeah, no, it's coming through. It's coming through. Chris Waters. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
He says, I saw Julian Lage on Friday.
Oh, stop it.
Good Lord. As a blues rock Neanderthal, I found it both inspiring and indecipherable. Jazz. Where do I start?
Where do you start with jazz?
Learn your chords.
Yeah. All about chords. Learn your chords. Learn what makes up a chord.
Learn what the notes are. Learn how they make chords. That's jazz.
So the really cool thing, so blues is really interesting, right? When you start learning jazz and you start with your pentatonic. right? And so, and that pentatonic scale will work over, you know, all your blues chords. You can just play the pentatonic scales till the cows come home.
And why do pentatonic scales work, Dan? Why do minor pentatonic scales in particular work?
So the minor pentatonic scale is basically it's a minor arpeggio with an added fourth. And that fourth note is really interesting. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, back to the 1. And what's really interesting is that fourth note gives it momentum. So if I was just to play a minor pentatonic over the minor chord, but the fourth, it gives it a bit of direction to get to the fifth. Anyway, the more that you get into jazz, the more you learn about the chords, all of a sudden what happens is that pentatonic thing turns into actually outlining the chords. When you get to the 4 chord,
Gareth, it's a monster. I love it.
and then the 5 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord. So blues is a really great indicator of where you're at with your jazz, because you can take the really simple form, like the 1-4-5 thing in blues, and then jazz will let you embellish that as much as you like. So yeah, and it's just about learning the chords.
Would you say arpeggios are a good place to start?
Fantastic place to start.
So pick a song, right? Whatever song that is. Learn the chords properly, because, well, there's no other way to say it. Learn the chords properly, and it might be that you use a bit of tab or a tuition book to find out what those chords are, and then learn the arpeggios in those chords.
Yeah.
And then that's how it works, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah. And
totally.
Then tomorrow you'll be Wes Montgomery.
There are some, if you really want to get into it, there's some wonderful tuition videos available. But the most important thing if you want to learn jazz is you need to listen to jazz. Knowing the stuff is no substitution for actually understanding the sound, the feel, the swing, all that stuff. I studied jazz, boy oh boy, 30 years ago. I didn't really get it until about, 4 or 5 years ago. I listened to it for a long time, then all of a sudden it started to click. So yeah, listen to jazz. And jazz is a broad spectrum, right? It's like saying listen to country music. Jazz is a very broad spectrum. Find the things in jazz that you really like and start to analyze.
Yeah.
There you go.
We would both recommend truefire.com as a really
Wonderful.
good learning resource. Their courses are really affordable and very thorough. So truefire.com, and find yourself a decent jazz course.
There you go. Yep, jazz for beginners, and it'll lay out all those, starting things you need to do.
Indeed.
Yep.
Okay, so moving along, George Radcliffe. He says, thanks, guys, for digging into important concepts like the continuous feedback loop between player and gear and the ways it can influence playing style.
Yep, so important.
E.g., it can be good to play simpler phrases with fuzz, for example. It adds valuable context to gear talk. Yeah, it's sort of what we're all about, really, George, which isn't always obvious. Yeah, sorry.
You're popular.
No, I'm not popular. Gareth's just
Show me.
just sent. I'm sorry, this is very rude.
Oh my goodness.
Don't really want to share Gareth's private photos.
That's great.
Says he's found an Iommi era Laney as well.
Wow.
Which is a big deal.
Boy, oh boy.
Let me turn my sound off a minute, Dan. There we go. That'll be easier, wouldn't it? Sorry, I have my phone on because BV gets in touch to tell us things that we've missed, which is very helpful. I was just Michael Olsen. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
He says, I hope you haven't already answered this cue. I have my amp and pedal board plugged in at home. Do I have to turn the power supply off when I don't use it? Says Michael Olsen from Stockholm in Sweden.
Yeah. You don't have to, but there's no point it being on, I mean, even the pedals, when they're off and they're not being used, they're still going to draw a little bit of current. Yeah, I'd just turn it off. It's serving no purpose being on. Your power supply is going to warm up and stuff. Just turn it off.
Turn it off. Depending on what era it is, it may turn itself off. Certain regulations mean that they have to power off after a certain time, don't they? In certain countries.
Right.
Dan rolls his eyes. Dr. Balchin 1 says, have you ever tried the Eric Johnson Strat? I've got one arriving tomorrow. I had one and I totally ruined it by taking all the finish off the neck.
Oh, yeah.
Because I couldn't play it, unfortunately.
No, but we have... Actually, no, but I have played one of Eric Johnson's old Strats at ATB Guitars. That was amazing.
Yeah. Really cool guitar. Don't do what I did and take all the finish off the neck. Totally ruined it. It was a cool guitar. Nice and light. I like that guitar. Like the sound of it. Couldn't play it. Can't do the lacquer under the fingerboard, unfortunately.
Right.
Mark Rostein says, hi guys, I recently watched a video from Tim Pierce and Tom Bukovac, 2 different videos, where they were using a Boss EQ pedal as a clean boost. What are your thoughts?
Great. You don't... If Tom Bukovac says it...
It's true.
Write it down.
And do it.
Make a T-shirt.
Forever.
It's the truth. It's the facts, baby. If Tim Pierce and Tom says it, that's it. You're done. So why a graphic EQ is a really good idea as a clean boost, depending on the amplifier that you're using, there are different frequencies that you're going to want to boost, different frequencies that you're going to want to cut to make the clean thing work. Like, for example, if I've got my playing with the Lazy J and that's, cranked to the point where it's breaking up, I'm not going to want to boost mid-range into that for a clean solo. However, I can get some crispy top end in there and that'll work lovely, and it'll work with the volume control. If I'm working with an amplifier that's got, with a twin and I want a clean boost, I'm absolutely going to roll some, lower mids in there. I might even warm up the top end a little bit. It all depends on the amplifier. All about gain staging again. It all depends on the amplifier and how that amplifier is limiting. Because it's an amplifier on 2 is a very different amplifier on 4. You know what I mean? So it all depends on how you're running the amplifier. So graphic EQs are wonderful.
Works
wonderful
great.
Clean boost.
It's an interesting topic. There are lots of people out there who sort of start in this position of, I really like my sound and what I want is it louder.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this discussion comes from is, what you're able to do with such a clean boost is just take your sound and make it louder. Now, as he was alluding there, that does rather depend on the fact the amp's got enough headroom to allow you to do it, because any boosting you do is going to change the tonality, it's going to change the gain structure. Personally, I've never ever wanted a boost to just be, here's my sound and here it is louder. I want the opposite of that. When I step on a boost, I want the sound to change as well.
Yeah.
So exactly what he was saying about then manipulating the frequencies, which I'm sure is what Tom and Tim were talking about. Manipulating the frequencies to get the boost where you want it. And then, of course, if you then take some of the famous boosts down the years, they do that in their design. So whether it's an EP booster or whether it's an MXR micro amp or whatever it is, they will do that. They will boost in certain areas and not in others. However, they will also add character if the boost is generated, I don't know, with an IC or whether it's generated like as a transistor.
Yeah, exactly that.
So how much character do you want in your boost? That's the question. And if you want as little as possible with a volume hike in the relevant areas, then an EQ is a completely brilliant way to do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Guys, I haven't caught you for a while, says Peter Wasted. Keep up the good work. Just fun. I know blue and red, but what colour guitars did you think you'd end up playing?
Black. I always thought I'd end up with a black Telecaster. The custom telly that I had made that cost me a fortune was thin black nitro, and I had the best of everything on that guitar was an absolute dog. I always thought I'd end up with a black guitar. Nope.
Never really thought about it.
Really?
No.
I just thought Joe Strummer and a black tally. I thought that's it.
Strat is what I thought.
Right.
And colour, maybe Stevie Ray on the cover of Live Alive had a kind of creamy one, and that was my first Strat, was that colour. I got it because of that. Yeah, and then pretty soon after I realised that the only colour guitar should actually be a Sunburst.
Indeed.
So,
Sailor Roy says, why are we still sitting down? You don't have to sit down, Roy. Get up, dance about, do your thing.
Yeah, the serious answer for that is when we stand up, the cameras are a nightmare. As we're going to find out tomorrow. I don't want to sit down and play again tomorrow.
Great.
It's
awesome.
awful.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Playing.
I
just can't do it.
Put the guitar strap on and spent some time over there getting some sounds together. And after about 20 minutes of standing up with the guitar, I was like, oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, it was really nice, but it was like, to get back to gig fit again.
We played for that gig that I did a couple of weeks ago. We played for 2 hours. I had not a single achial pain.
Wow.
From playing for 2 hours. I mean, my voice gave up, different story, but in terms of fingers or shoulders or anything like that, nothing. Not a twinge.
Well done.
Which is, I sort of was expecting to hurt a bit.
That's great though. Really great.
Albus Band.
G'day,
Aaron,
mate.
Hello. He says, my dearest dudes, hope you're well this day and all that follow. I picked up filaments off your old GitCon vid and it is underrated beast. Love you.
You wait till Friday's video.
It's in the video on Friday. It's not presented in the best light on Friday for a couple of reasons, but we do use it because it is such a great high gain pedal.
It is. As you say, it's a sleeper.
It is.
It's wonderful.
So much tweakaroo in there just to get it sat where you like it.
Yep.
It does sound considerably better in the following week's video.
Oh, that's okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Pete Lawler, hello Pete. He says, no question fellas, just thanks for all the advice. I spend much time staring at boards and wondering what I've got myself into. It's all your fault.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. You're so welcome.
I think we feel the same, Pete, if it's any consolation.
Yeah. It's really funny, actually. I've been messing around with my board recently, and I posted some pictures on Facebook group just to say, oh, check it out. I've made this, it's like, I still love, just talking about it, whether people say, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Have you tried this? Yeah, man, it's great. I love that. It works better in this situation, blah, blah, blah. It's really cool. It's really fun. It's still really fun.
Yeah, endlessly fascinating.
Yep.
Guitar Moog says, hi from Brussels in Belgium.
Ah, hello.
Hello to Belgium. Have you seen the new Game Changer Bigsby pedal? I got one on pre-order. Really sounds like a Bigsby, not just a pitch shifter.
Wow.
I think Dan would love it with his Tellys and SG.
I'll have to have a play.
Yeah. We will have to have a play.
Yeah. I mean, I really like those guys. They're so creative. And more power to them.
Yeah, they are. That's one thing you would have to say about Game Changer.
So creative.
Unbelievably creative.
Yep.
Nice. Scott Irwin, hello Scott.
Hey,
I recently bought Bookavac's new album. It's amazing. I play a Page TS.
Nice.
Into a Constable.
Nice.
Into a Laney L5T 5-watt as a pedal platform. How do I get the overtones and harmonics he gets with my gear and my fingers?
Oh, man. You can take this one.
You need to do two things. Number one, you need to turn the gain down. Number two, you need to turn the amp up.
Bingo.
Overtones, I am convinced, happen when... Well, no, they happen as a result of your whole signal chain and the harmonics generated. But in the context, I think, of what you're talking about, they happen when there's feedback between you, your guitar, and the speaker and the amp in the room. I always enjoy playing more when the amp is loud enough to start doing that, and the guitar and the amp almost start working in some sort of acoustic sympathy with one another. And that's obviously what creates harmonic feedback when you go from, a note being held into a bit of feedback into a squeal. and nobody wants the squeal bit. What most of us do want is the sort of musical harmonics when it feedback when it kind of goes into harmonics, into feedback. But back from there is a whole load of other harmonics that aren't feedback, that are just the harmonic interplay between what you're playing, what's coming out the speaker, and what's going through the whole feedback loop, right? So while you might not want feedback in the sort of traditional sense, what you do want is harmonic interplay. And all those frequencies folding into one another, that's what creates analog loveliness. That's what creates awesome guitar sounds. But you do need a bit of volume to do it.
You do. You do. Yeah. But I'd just mirror Mick. Gain down, volume up.
Hold on to the notes.
One of the things that's...
Move around.
Yeah, totally. Because it's a different experience depending on where the guitar is in relation to the amplifier at volume. Saw an amazing Steve Vai gig, and he had some markings on the floor where he'd mapped out where the guitar would feed back different notes. And
yeah, way.
Totally. And he's worked all this stuff out, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. One of the things, if you're just getting into volume, one of the things to be aware of is you're going to be able to hear yourself. And don't be alarmed, because at volume, when I first started playing louder, it was really confronting because you hear everything. You hear when you play a good note, you hear all the bad ones, but it will make you a better player, and you can then play with sensitivity and dynamics. So just give that a go. I cannot recommend it enough. It's wonderful.
There you go. The fingers part, unfortunately, we can't help you with. Dan and I ask ourselves the same question frequently when we watch Tom play. I mean, the guy is music.
Yep.
He just sweats the stuff. It just comes out of him.
He does.
And that, unfortunately, is the hard bit.
Yep. Play lots.
Tim Good. Hello, Tim. Timmy B. Good. Hi DNM, have you guys ever heard of Ian Thornley from Big Wreck?
Yes, of course.
Curious what you thought of yet another Canadian treasure.
Yeah, I was made aware of Ian's work many years ago. He's amazing.
I filmed a video that's on Anderton's with Ian when he came there in the early days of when Anderton's TV were making their changes. I was helping him with a few things. And I filmed that one and did the audio for it, as I remember.
Right.
And I remember being flipping blown away with his playing, because he not only is he a monster regular player, he's an absolutely killer slide player as well.
Right.
And he's one of those guys where, from a purely personal listening perspective, I've never been a massive fan of high gain guitar sounds, because it sort of becomes one dynamic for me, and just purely personally speaking, it's just not my thing. But Ian is someone who plays with massive gain,
right?
Like really thick gain and loads of wet effects as well, and yet he extracts dynamic from that,
right?
In a really emotive way. Beautiful, just a beautiful player.
Yeah.
So yeah, big fan of him. I really like his last solo album as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, really, because not only does he have all of that, he's also an unbelievable singer.
Right.
So big fan, and thanks for mentioning him.
I don't know why I thought about this, but I saw some live footage of the Melvins.
Oh wow!
And it's like far out, man. For like big guitar sounds, flipping awesome.
I don't think I've not sure I've had the pleasure.
Yeah, really great.
Great name for a band.
Yeah.
Barrett Saltzman. Barrett Saltzman. Sorry, Barrett. My eyes get a bit tired at this hour. Barrett Saltzman. I got a new Gretsch 5230 with a Bigsby, and it's just not living up to the hype. I'm spoiled by the PRS Fender and Gibson stuff that I own. Should I send it back?
Yeah, if you're not happy with it.
Yeah. It's tough. I swapped the pickups out on my Gretsch. I got a 5422 double cut. And the pickups were not great, if I'm honest. And I swapped them out for some TV Jones, and that radically improved the guitar. I think the thing is, I don't know about your PRS Fenders and Gibsons that you own, whether they're solid bodies or not, but it is a palpably different experience when you get a hollow body, a fully hollow body. It's a completely different thing, and you kind of got to let it be what it is.
Yep.
Because if you try and play it like those other guitars, it is going to be underwhelming. So you need to give it a second chance, and maybe instead of trying to play all the same stuff you play on your other guitars, let it be what it is and see if it leads you in a direction of stuff that it wants to do. But I find generally it needs to be cleaner, louder, and with loads more treble because of those fairly average pickups, I would say, in the standard issue ones. Yep. But yeah, I mean, if it's not for you, it's not for you, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But well done for exploring a different sort of guitar. You know, we've got a couple of Gretschens, with a few actually, and they're great. They're all very different. Yeah. But if you're not connecting with it,
move it on.
If you get the opportunity, move it on.
J2072 says, "Hey Leggins, I got my FXmas T received. Thanks very much.
Excellent.
Thanks for buying one. If you haven't bought your Pedal Deer holiday Christmas T-shirt yet, please do at thatpedalshowstore.com and just feel happy on the day that you're doing something related to guitar.
Yeah, very good.
Even if it's only wearing a T-shirt.
Yep. Mick and I have signed a bunch of cards for those today.
We have.
Yes.
We have.
With some very silly holiday messages on there. Some we can't send.
He says, "Can Geordie Mick please announce that the band I'm in has released a Christmas single? The band is called Tin Town and the song is Boxing Day. Thanks for all you do," from Jason. Geordie Mick?
Geordie Mick?
Who's Geordie Mick?
It's not...
Is the phone ringing?
Yeah, it is. I believe it is.
Who's on the phone, Dan?
I don't know. You better go and check.
Shall I go and check who's on the phone?
Would you mind?
Is it, who could it be? Is it Angus Young?
It is Angus Young.
Oh my God. I'll go and see what's happening out
here. Yeah. While you're out there, give me a cup of tea and, yeah. Hey, Angus.
How are you, Canny Danny man? How's it going, Lick? Angus Young here from the famous band AC/DC.
Angus, how do you spell AC/DC?
Oh man, don't give us that, Lick. It's not that hard, Mark. You know what I'm saying, Lick? Anything AC/DC's good, mate. Anyway, I've come down from this Newcastle reach, and I was coming down the road and I saw this hard shoulder, and I said, "Hard shoulder? You think you're hard, do you?" Yeah! Anyway, Danny, it's Angus Young here from the famous band AC/DC, and I'm just calling up to say that, let's see, there's a new Christmas single out from a band called Tin Toon.
Tin Toon?
Tin Toon, and the song's called Boxing Day. Thanks for all you do. Anyway, I've got to gun off and play How the Hell Now. See ya!
See ya, mate. Thanks for calling. Don't forget that tenner you still owe me, by the way. All right. Yeah, say hi to your mum. All right, cheers, mate. Bye.
What did I miss?
You met Angus.
Angus Young?
Angus Young.
No way.
It sounds like he'd been hanging around with Brian Johnson a little bit too much.
Blimey, O'Reilly. Was he all right?
He's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's okay. Still can't spell AC/DC.
It's not that hard, Mark.
Not that hard, Mark.
Anyway, yeah. That's good. I'm glad he's all right. Pet Moxie.
Oh, boy.
Pet Moxie says, "I'm in the market for a new acoustic. $3,000. Got $3,000.
A new acoustic?
I'm torn between a Martin D28 and a Tommy Emmanuel signature Maton. I'm open to other suggestions. Love the show, lads."
Thank you, bud. Oh, wow. It's so tricky.
That's tough. You really, 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 really need to play these guitars.
Absolutely.
I don't know what you know about the Tommy Emmanuel signature guitar. It's not a dreadnought. It's more like an OM-shaped body, but it's slightly deeper. So, a bit curvier. And very different sort of response to something like a D28, which is your classic, all-time, most classic acoustic guitar in the world, dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need to play some Yeah, I mean, out of the two, I would have the Martin, because I'm a traditionalist, and the stuff that I play is more relevant to a Dreadnought acoustic than it would be to something like the Tommy.
Yeah.
I made a video for Guitarist once with Tommy. Oh my God.
He is phenomenal.
He is like... it will come out in years to come that there aren't just humans. There are aliens as well.
Yeah.
And I think Tommy may well qualify.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So please, if you can, try and go out and play some, because that's a very difficult thing to say. One person's going to really prefer something like the Tommy Emmanuel guitar. The next person's going to prefer the D28.
Because the guitar itself is like an enclosed ecosystem, right? It's all here. You don't have to worry about signal path and stuff like that. And it's a very personal connection. I've been, wanted this Kincaid guitar for years and years, and finally got on the list, and I'm filming it being made now, and I'm so excited for that guitar. But that's, was it 2 years I've been waiting for that guitar? If what you want is a guitar that you can walk into a store and buy, Martins are really hard to go past. They just sound great. But then you've also got things like, what are the big Gibsons? The J...
Yeah, J45 or J50, which is the Gibson Jumbo. Well, the Gibson Big Jumbo is the J200, but the J45 is more like a...
what's the Everly Brothers one?
That's the J180.
J180.
Yeah, which is not that common, but...
Right. But they're great. I mean, they're great guitars, but, Loudon makes some spectacular guitars.
Taylor,
man.
Yeah.
There's a real variety of tones in there. So Mick's got a Baby Taylor, and whenever I'm at your house and just pick it up in the morning and have it play,
it's a GS Mini.
It's a beautiful little guitar. Now, with that sort of a budget, the quality that you're going to get, you get something really serious for that money, but you need to take your time and just go and play a bunch and see which ones you connect with, then give it a break, and then go back, sleep on it, see how you feel the next day.
I did my dad's open mic a couple of weeks ago, and forgive me, a guy turned up, Ed, I think his name might have been, and he had one of the new D18s,
right?
Just straight mahogany spruce. They redid the D18 about 8 years ago. Made it much more traditional, and boy, that was a good guitar.
Really?
Just a great guitar.
Right.
Played loads and loads of OM28s and triple O28s. Same. The Martin have a sound. A bit like when you play a Gibson or a Marshall, it's got a sound. And if someone else makes a Gibson alike or a Marshall alike, they sound similar, but they never sound the same. And it's the same with Martin guitars. Big fan of Martin guitars. Yes, please play some, if we haven't said that enough already.
Yep. Good luck, mate.
The Great Dell. Mick, Dan's had his turn for tickets. I've got ones for this Friday, Saturday, or next Thursday if you're up for it. Say yes and I'll email you details. That's Nathan. I never knew that. So the Great Dell is Nathan. Nathan works for the London Symphony Orchestra and very kindly offers me and Dan along every now and again. I'm going to have a look at that, Nathan, and that would be really wonderful.
I went and saw them in Bath. Wow. Just... wow.
I've redone my hi-fi at home and got a nice preamp and a power amp and some decent speakers. And I don't listen to a lot of classical music because I'm just not that well versed in it enough to understand it. But one piece of music that, or at least I know it's a huge piece of music, but Symphonie Fantastique by Berlioz. And I think it's because I probably did it for GCSE or something, so I had an in for it, and I listened to it loud on my system the other day. The dynamic range in classical music,
it's just ridiculous.
on a hi-fi is flipping staggering. There's
Yeah.
no pop music that goes anywhere near it.
And so like when we went to Abbey Road, and you see the lengths they go to be able to record that stuff,
Yeah.
you know, because it's trying to get that all balanced. And it's got to be balanced going in,
Yeah.
you know, man.
Wonderful. Nathan, thank you. I will consult the diary. Where's the missus? Everything all right, Bebbers?
Oh, hey, mechanic puppers.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, bye. Anyone else got a constant background buzz coming through the audio? Bebbers has got a constant background buzz coming through the audio.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else getting that?
No one's, let's see.
Would
No
have
one's
thought-
mentioned it yet.
That would have been one of the first things anyone would have said, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian Sugarev says, love that you're talking about classical music again. Orchestra musician here. Yeah. So my guitar teacher started playing cello 5 or 6 years ago. And he's doing like chamber music and stuff with different ensembles at the moment. And what a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Some people are saying a light buzz, some people saying no buzz, some people saying no buzz. Fine for me. All clear here.
Yeah. Brazil.
Eamon Turner.
Thanks, Marcio.
Not that sort of buzz. Seth, no. I can hear the buzzing, says Anthony and Bree. Very subtle, apparently. I wonder if it's something to do with the de-esser. Anyway, if it's bearable, we shan't change anything for today. I have a massive buzz, says Buzz Wilson. Good on you, Buzz.
Well done, mate.
Thanks for the feedback, everybody. Square Wave Symphonies says, hello, you toes of tone. Not a question. I just want to say thank you for all the things you've taught me.
Piggy went to market.
I'm a bassist and passionate pedal collector. Shameless plug. Check out my Insta, says Square Wave Symphonies. Square Wave Symphonies on the gram of Insta. Your show has helped me so much.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Bobby Dorrance. Hello, Bobby. Thanks for the advice on using a buffered pedal to maintain guitar treble when rolling back volume. I've got a PRS Silver Sky. Silver Squire, I was about to say. Silver Sky. Boss TU3 with buffer. Princeton Reverb on 10. Guitar knobs and hands. Tonal bliss. I've never been happier.
Well done, mate. Great.
Good on you, Bobby.
Nothing wrong with that buffer either.
It's great. It's so good to hear, when someone asks a question that is ostensibly very difficult and the answer isn't it's better this way or it's worse this way. It's just, this is what changes it. Try it and see if you like it.
Yeah.
And you try it and you like it. Win.
Well done. Yeah,
Bing.
brilliant.
Wish we had a little bell down. We should, what sound effects do we have? Excellent.
I love that this is where we've got to. This is where we've got to. Brilliant.
Collect some more sound effects. Sorry for the peaking noise there. One of them was a duck call. Yeah. Non-aligned video says 6L6s or 5881s.
Sorry, say again.
6L6s or 5881s.
5881s, please.
I can't say I've ever listened to them closely enough in the same amp to discern a difference.
I have some old Philips 5881s, which were in. I had a Fender Pro Reverb that I had those in.
Nice.
And it was Fane speakers in it.
They're interchangeable with biasing, aren't they?
Yeah. And they're just wonderful things.
Mike2203 fan. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Nice to hear from you. He says, how are PAs set up in large venues? Do some big name players use stereo PAs for wet, dry, etc.? I've no experience in this field, but I'm curious.
Yeah, so generally PAs will have a stereo field because they'll play music and things through it as well. It's really interesting. if you've got a massive PA and you're close to the front of the stage, then all that stereo imaging is lost.
Yeah, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Probably depends on the venue, doesn't it? So if you're in a stadium, stereo imagery is always going to be a bit of a challenge for the reasons that Dan's just saying. But if you're in a theatre,
Yeah.
and they've got a nice line array or whatever it is they've got in there, and you know, you're assuming you're not sat like all the way over to one side, then I would imagine it's easier to deal with a stereo image there, because actually in the bigger theatres they also have a centre column, don't they?
Yes.
So I guess if a guitar player has massive stereo reverbs and delays and they decide they want to place them on the stereo spectrum, then they can. Wet dry is a bit different. One of the reasons Dan and I love wet dry so much is because you pan it straight down the middle.
Yeah.
And therefore you don't get that problem of stereo spacing. So if your ardent fan is headbanging by the left speaker and they're not hearing any of your right delay, they're going to be unhappy. So, but if they've got a nice mix of wet dry, they're going to be hearing it all.
On the Stephen Wilson, the Raven that refused to sing tour, it was like quadraphonic, and they refused to sing.
That wasn't singing.
Oh, very good.
Actually, they are a bit lower than that, the Raven. It's more like a bark.
Oh, is it?
Mm.
Sorry. Anyway, certain parts of that. I got a little dog.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a chihuahua.
That was little, yeah. But at certain parts of that, so there was a sound effect for the Raven. I'll never forget this. Like this amazing, like sawtooth synth thing, and you're watching the gig and you know, Guthrie on guitar, just giving it all the stuff, and then the Raven would appear on the screen, and then behind you, you would hear this. You would hear the Raven call. It was just flipping amazing. So, depending on the way they've the sound sculpture for the gig, you know, they can do epic things with the PA, and that goes back to, like, was it Quadrophenia? What was the first big, or was it like a Floyd gig where they did
Quadraphonic sound.
Yeah,
that was a thing, wasn't it? For a minute there, they lots of people were really into that.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Raf Freitas. Hi, Raf. He says, hello, hope you're well. Every time I grab a guitar for the first time, I subconsciously play the same thing. Electric, it's SRV's M-Hall. M-Hall?
Going down the M-hole, dun, 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 and the H crevasse.
An acoustic, it's extremes more than words. I'm just trying to ignore you and failing. What do you play? I want to know what M-Hall is.
It's a very common thing, because if you
Mary Had a Little Lamb. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. I like my version better. It's a really common thing, because if you've got something that you play and you know how it sounds on a guitar that you've got, then it's a comparative tool, right? It's like, oh, okay, when I played my guitar at home, it's got this. When I play this new one, it's got more mids, it's got less top end, whatever. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I used to play an open G chord.
Yeah, I'll play, you know, some big open chords just to hear the...
And then normally if I like the guitar, it will sort of take me off.
Right.
And what I'll do is I'll realise I'm playing the guitar, not thinking about what to play.
Right.
And at that point, it's like, okay, I like this guitar. But with some guitars, like when I got my Hendrix Strat, which is currently in Greece, I literally picked that up, branged a G chord and went, yes, that's fine. That resonates in a way that I know I'm going to like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, more than words. I guess you could swap that out for many, many other acoustic ballads that are sort of in G, because it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Sure.
And that's a good place to start for an acoustic, I reckon. I think you got some solid choices there, Raf.
Very good.
Matt Brackman. Mick, do you think the value of the 2012 to 2017 American vintage Strats and Tellys will continue to go up over the next 10 to 20 years, like the Fullerton reissues did? It's interesting, this, Matt. So for anyone who doesn't know, Fender first started doing reissue guitars from America in the sort of late 80s. Because in the mid 80s, the deal had just gone down where CBS Fender sold out to management buyout, where what was his name? Guy that came from Yamaha.
Mr. Yamaha?
Dan Smith and I can't remember his name. Bill Schultz took over the business and started revamping. So they started coming out. They started, bearing in mind that all those great guitars had come out from 54 to 64, I guess, roughly speaking. Took them till the mid 80s to go, actually, those old guitars were pretty cool. Let's make them like that again. And what's happened since then is the American vintage reissue guitars that have been called different things over the years, but they're all essentially vintage reissues, have got better and better and better in terms of their spec, component choice, the way they're made, body shapes, pickup choices, all that, right? And to say they've got better and better and better isn't exactly true, because they've been more and less accurate as time has gone on. The context for which is to say that the 2012 to 2017 ones, which Matt is talking about, are the most accurate ones they've done in the American vintage range. Before that, it was what Blue is, which is a 62 Strat, which was an amalgamation of the sort of slab-board rosewood features, and a 57 Strat, which was an amalgamation of the maple neck type features. So they had to sort of pick a neck shape that fit every maple neck Strat from 54 to 59, which, as you know, will be vastly different. So they sort of had to pick a midpoint.
Right.
Which is what the old American vintage 57 maple neck and 62, which is what Blue is, Strats are. In 2012, they revamped it and they got much more specific on the features. So they did, let me see, a 56 and a 59 Strat. And the 59 Strat was available either maple or rosewood, because that's when they changed. They were both.
It's amazing that you know this. It's so detailed. It's wonderful.
And then they did a 65 Strat, 65. So instead of there being, maybe there was another one. They got more specific anyway, and the features of those guitars got more specific. And in my opinion anyway, they are the best. And that's what Transit Van is, for what it's worth. I don't know where Transit Van is. Oh, it's there. Transit Van is a 2012 59 with the rosewood board. And it's a bit more period correct than Blue. Body shape, a couple of other things. Something weird has happened to the fingerboard. Anyway, so the irony of all of this is they were a bit more expensive. The finishes were really hard and therefore really brittle. So they mark so easily.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah. And
they actually didn't sell that well.
Really?
So Fender decided they needed to make them more generic again.
Has it got a vintage radius?
They all did.
Right.
Yeah. Make them more generic again and come out with the American Original Series from 2017 forward. And they're, cool, but they've gone more generic than the ones previously. So,
right.
I'm going to say, I think they will.
Okay.
Because there aren't that many of them out there.
Yeah. And they're great guitars.
And anyone who knows what they are wants them.
That's the Stratiest Strat.
Yeah.
It's
The next,
really
unfortunately, the neck's just too flipping thin for me, but...
Hey.
So I think they will. I don't think you're going to buy one of these tomorrow and be rich in 25 years' time. Don't think that's going to happen. But I think
they're not going to lose any money on
I think they're going to hold their value.
Yeah.
But, even though rubbishy American vintages like Blue, what did I do? I paid, I think, maybe 800 quid for this.
Wow.
In 2004.
Right.
3. These are 1,500 now.
Really?
Well, this one would be even more because it was a special edition. But
right.
So, a second-hand Strat, 800 quid 15 years ago.
Right.
Probably, you know, in better condition than this. 1,500-1,600 quid at the moment.
Wow.
So yeah, I think
Not
they
even
will.
a custom shop, just to...
Well, you say not custom shop.
But that was the start of the custom shop stuff, right?
No, it wasn't.
No, of course not.
Custom shop was very established. I mean, there's nothing not custom shop about this guitar.
Yeah.
The finish,
of course.
the wood selection.
Yeah.
There's nothing not custom shop about this guitar.
Rocky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was part of one of, I don't know how many, but they did a run for Andy Babiuk's Beatles gear book, and it was a special edition with the Sonic Blue. Because John and George got 62 Strats in 64.
Right.
And John's was lost to the ether, and George's ended up as Rocky, the painted one.
Right.
I do like a Strat.
Yeah. I love Blue. Got a very soft... It's always... Whenever I hear you play Blue, I've heard, my favourite stuff I've heard you play has been on Blue.
Thanks, man. I think, yeah, it's definitely not the best sounding Strat that's ever been in the room, but it's the one I connect with the most. And
but that's everything.
That's it. Yeah.
Everything.
I put the Ron Ellis pickups back in it, actually.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Hey, Boomers, says Matthew Bradbury.
Hey. Apparently.
And Nathan, the Great Dell, is on again, and he says, I think I'm going to build myself a vibrato channel only deluxe reverb with a 3-knob reverb and harmonic trem. When I finish it, do you want to go? Yes. That is a really complex thing to do.
Yeah, really complex.
As you know, Nathan.
Yeah. Nathan started a pedal company. We started building pedals, I should say. And it's given me one to have a play with. And it's really nice. I have to bring it in.
Yeah.
I've been having shrungage with it at home.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think that harmonic trem bit's really complex, Nathan. I know this because some friends have been messing about with it for some time now and have really struggled to get it good. So, yes, absolutely, when it's done. David Rutledge again. Hello, David. He says, I haven't got to watch live in recent months, so just saying hey from Nashville. Hey to Nashville.
Hello, Nashville. I have a dream. Dream is you and me doing a country music telly twang bonanza in Nashville. That's my dream.
Let's make it happen.
Can we please? I really want to go.
Yeah.
You've been and I haven't, and I feel incomplete.
We can...
I saw there's YouTube videos of these buskers in Nashville, and I'm like, it's some of the best guitar playing I've ever seen in my life.
I think we better go for a while, and we need to be there a few days for you to get over how nuts it is, so that you can come down.
Right.
So we can actually get some work done.
Okay.
Because it is...
Should I head out early?
When you go there for the first time and you just walk into those bars along whatever that street's called.
Right. I'll head out early, but you come with me early.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, great.
And we can just go and get drunk for a few days and watch some swing bands and some awesome country bands. And then when we're acclimatized, then we'll be ready to make the show.
Okay. It would take me years to get ready. I reckon. I'll just be walking around going.
Anyway, he says, I've been enjoying my new Tele-Thin Line Partsacaster of late. Cheers.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
Very nice.
Reminds me of Paul David's lovely thin line, the sort of reimagined what would have been a Blackguard
The
thin
one
line
that got away.
if it had ever existed.
Yeah.
Dan built a pedal board for Paul David's, which was subject of last Friday's video, which I have to thank Dan for, because at the moment I'm doing all the editing and I just got completely behind with everything. And Dan thankfully had his vlog ready to go, so it just dug me out of a massive hole of not having a video ready. So thank you, Dan. And a flipping good video it was as well.
Oh, bless you. It's fun. It's interesting. Very interesting.
There were a few humorless individuals in the comments section.
People who have joined us on a Monday night, our TPS faithful, we love you. Thank you so much for being with us. What we love about this community that's sort of grown around this channel is that, I mean, you read the comments and people asking questions and people being really supportive and encouraging and offering ideas and
of each other
and
too.
It's really, we love that. We
humans as they should be.
Yeah, we cherish it and we're very protective of that. And what we find is with some of the videos that bring in a larger audience, it's wonderful. We want to bring people in, but we also are reminded of some of the things that some of our YouTube friends deal with on a daily basis with basically the humorless.
What Dan is saying is there are some dreadfully unpleasant people out there.
Yeah, and it's like
we don't make it for people who don't like it.
No. If you don't, it's like why? Oh, anyway.
I watched Top Gear last night. The new season of Top Gear. If anyone doesn't know what Top Gear is, it's a British car program that's very famous in most parts of the world. Gone through a lot of changes over the years and is now it went through a real rocky ride after some of the original presenters left, went off to do the grand tour on Amazon TV, I think it is. And they've sort of been through a few presenters and they've landed in this place of this really cool trio of people.
So this is the new Top Gear without Clarkson and
I mean, it's
those
been a
guys.
few years.
Yeah.
But now you've got Freddie Flintoff, the cricketer.
Right.
Ex-cricketer. You've got a guy called Matt Harris, who's a ex-racing driver and journalist.
Right.
And Paddy McGuinness, who's a comedian.
No way.
And they're really funny. Anyway, the production values on this show have always been like
amazing.
And last night they went to flipping stratosphere with it. Really spectacular. Anyway, they did 2 segments on the show. The second segment was a really lovely tribute to a guy called Eddie Kidd, who was sort of should I say, the UK's answer to Evel Knievel. And
not the guy on the bicycle. Anyway, I've got a video that I'll show you later on.
No, Evel Knievel, the guy that tried to jump the
I
Grand Canyon.
I know who Evel Knievel is, but there's this guy filmed back in the 70s who was a massive Evel Knievel fan and couldn't afford a motorbike, so he was setting up these jumps on his little push bike and trying to do these stunt things.
It might have been.
It's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
It might have been, but Ed went on to jump the Great Wall of China on a
flippin' heck
on a motorbike and did loads of things. And unfortunately, he had an accident in the 90s that left him paralysed and you know in not such a good way. Anyway, they did a fantastic tribute to him last night and had him on the show, and it was really good. That was the second part of the show. The first part of the show, they reviewed 3 cars.
Right.
One was 150 grand.
Right.
One was 155 grand, and one was 400,000 pounds.
Wow.
And at no point was I watching the TV going, "Whoa, how dare you? I can't afford this. How dare you even talk about cars that cost 400,000 pounds? I can't afford this. I can't afford this." And I don't want to watch a review of a flipping Ford Mondeo. I just don't want to see it.
No.
I can't be bothered. I want to see what a McLaren car driven by someone who can really drive.
Yep.
And it's entertainment, isn't it? So all these humorless people who get annoyed with us because we play expensive gear, it's like, come on, man. Chill out.
Yep.
It's entertainment. And it's a bit of fun.
It's a bit of fun. Yeah.
It's not War and Peace. Sorry.
Yeah. There we go. So
that was Mix Modes.
Mix Modes. Got to work out a something like.
Mix
Mode. Proper boomer bands there.
I think it should be a major to a minor.
But really bad.
Yeah.
I like that. Do it with a harmony. Mix mode.
Oh, I went a bit Western swing at the end there. It's raga.
Same key, I think.
Jolly Willard, hi Jolly. He says, loved hearing you guys jam with Doug.
Oh, so good.
I had a jam for the first time in forever this weekend. It took a while for the creativity to flow. Any tips to jump-start the creative engine?
Before you jam, make sure that you are really familiar with your gear and what you're doing. So set it up in your lounge room or whatever. If you're at a jam and you're constantly worrying about and you're not quite sure about what's going on with the gear, that's the first thing that's going to kill that flow. So make sure that you're really familiar. And what that might mean is that you need to simplify and just have a few sounds, a few go-to things. But yeah, the more familiar and more connected that you are with your own thing, then you can just let it flow.
I was going to suggest pick a popular song and do it in a completely different way. Dan stayed over after VCQ last week and we had Meat Feast. And I woke up in the morning with Material Girl by Madonna in my head.
Mm-hmm.
What's great about really great pop songs is they tend to be cowboy chords, right?
Right.
Right, if we haven't already been copyright struck, we probably will be soon. So pick a chord progression from something like that, and it'll help you find your way around a melody that's something unfamiliar to you, but familiar.
Yeah.
And I think, and you know, I don't know, play it at half pace, add a massive reverb on, you know, or a different, or you know, in a 3/4. I think that can be a good way to do it. I'm such a fan of those 80s pop songs.
Yeah.
Because they're always great chords. Same as Tay-Tay.
Same as Tay-Tay.
So try that maybe. If you need a format around which to jam, because the point of saying that is, if you just jam, you know, he's jamming one thing, you're jamming another, and the drummer's trying to be. Yeah,
it's a great idea. If it's an organised jam, as in if it's not a jam at like a jam night where everyone's just getting up, throwing things at each other. If you're going to have a jam with players, like the first rehearsal we did with Paul, we said, okay, let's just learn a couple of tunes to have a play over. Is there any songs that anyone's always wanted to play?
Oh, nice.
And we were doing what were we doing? We were doing King Crimson.
Drop the Boy by Bros.
That thing? Yeah.
Sorry, it's above my credibility
anyway,
ceiling, that song.
But it was frame by frame.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Frame by frame.
Too credible for me, Dan.
Anyway, but we all learnt it. We all came in and just had a go.
On the toes.
And it was so much fun. It was brilliant. And Paul's there going, doing the Robert Fripp riff.
Yeah.
Ah, man, it was great.
I love it. So you go to your jam. So what should we jam? Someone says King Crimson. I'm like, I'm going to a different song. I was thinking more blues in G, if that's all right with you guys.
Oh, man, so much. Yeah. But
I would like to have heard that.
Well, maybe one day you will.
Yeah. When you play down the Duck and Dog. Essa Hakkarainen says, acoustic control 134, modded carving 50 watt with 6L6s.
Nice.
A JC 120, AC 15 with Alnico Blue. Thanks for the inspiration.
Wow.
I'm doing about 5 shows a month in Seattle with my band Sweet Creature. Sweet Creature in Seattle. Sweet Creature in Seattle. Go and see Asa there. I have a different setup for every one. Polarity, phase, isolation.
Well done, mate. That's brilliant.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Well, it makes Sub Rosa's question, which is next, entirely relevant. Sub Rosa says, how do you handle the phenomenon where your amp sounds wonderful 1 minute and less so the next day? Also, I just got a KOT, getting used to the trims. Do you tweak the insides often when you change amps? Let's deal with the easy bit first then. KOT trimmers on the inside, Dan.
The trimmers on the inside are like a presence control, and I tweaked it very subtly once, and I've never touched them again. But they are set generally to sound amazing. It's only if you're using a dark amplifier, or you just need a little bit more cut, and it's different than finding that position in the tone control. It's just adding a little bit of like presency stuff right at the top.
Yeah,
and it's great. But again, I need to make tiny adjustments with these things to have big changes.
So the trimmer, the presence trimmery control inside comes at 0. Dan puts it, if 0 is kind of 7 o'clock, Dan puts it at about between 9 and 10. That's how much.
Right.
That's how much you adjust it by.
Glad you remember.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it for years.
I know that because when we done our King of Tone shows, I had to remember.
Oh, wow. Okay. To put it back where
Yeah.
well, one's on.
I don't touch mine at all. Internal trimmers on anything. I figure they set it right when it comes out the factory. But as you say, if you're changing an amp, what he just said, if the amp is pretty dark, then you might want a bit more. There's quite a lot of scope in that tone control, to be fair, on the top panel. The more thorny question is, your amp sounds wonderful 1 minute and rubbish the next, and I think we can probably all relate to that. How do you deal with that?
So, an experience that I had, was doing a gig. We had 3 nights in a row at the Walkabout in Newquay over a long weekend, and I played. And it's a loud gig, right? It was an awesome sort of, loads of people, hot, fantastic. Anyway, started the gig, loud, awesome. And by the end of the gig, I thought, amp's just not sounding great. What's going on? Because I thought it's getting quieter. Anyway, sound check the next night, amp's perfect again. So I put a little recorder just to record what I was hearing. Turns out it wasn't the amp that was changing, it was my ears. So, after being in that environment for such a long time, your ears will get desensitized to it, and you'll hear things differently. So what you perceive as the amp changing might not actually be the amp changing, it might be you changing, because the amp was spot on all night when I heard it back.
And then environment is a really big deal.
Really big deal.
So if you're in, a room like we're in now, which is very dead sounding, there's very little early reflection in here, although the drums are doing me in at about 400 hertz. If you're in a massive empty room, you've got loads of reflections off of everywhere, which is having a massive EQ effect, quite apart from the reverb and delay effect. So you're perceiving it very differently. And, that's why, isn't it? When you do sound check, it all sounds like, oh my God. And then as soon as the place fills up, if indeed you're lucky enough to have a place that fills up, it all sounds great because the bodies are absorbing some, and the whole thing's just a bit deader. So I think that's got a lot to do with it, is environment. And if you understand a little bit about that, if you understand why, the nature of why it doesn't sound good to you, then you can do something about it.
Yeah.
Gain and volume. I don't know about you, but I usually start off this loud and end up that loud.
Mm-hmm.
Amp sounds bigger and open and more lovely and more harmonically rich when it's louder, and more rubbish and closed down and harmonically dead when it's quiet.
But if it's too loud, it can also go that way.
Yeah.
So it's finding that sweet spot.
Yeah. So I guess understanding what it is you don't like about it,
Yeah.
so that you can then do something about it. A physical position of the amp can be quite a big deal, actually. I don't know if you maybe always have it on a chair. That can really do bad things for the bottom end, depending on what the chair's sat on. Or if you always have it coupled to the stage.
Yeah.
Same thing, which way is it facing? One thing I did learn to do with loud amps after watching John Mayer was just tilt them away.
Yeah, right.
So that they're going over there and not hitting you right in the back of the head.
Yep.
And I found that I can run my amps a little bit louder before anyone complains by doing that.
Yeah, except the monitor guy over there is getting smacked in the head with it, which
Always
is
in
lovely.
the opposite direction from the monitor guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's really important, right? If the only time you ever play loud is a gig, then you need to do some more homework, because your amp is a different being at gig level. Go to a rehearsal room and turn your amp up. If you can't do it at home, turn your amp up at a rehearsal room to gig level and go through all your sounds and make sure you understand how your amp is reacting at volume.
Yeah.
It's really
'Cause it's
super important.
it's a different game.
It is a
isn't
different thing. You might be at home thinking, yep, got all my sounds great. You got your amp on 2, get to the gig, your amp turns to 4. Your amp is a completely different thing, and it's going to react completely different to the way you got your pedals set. So make sure you understand how your amp is going to react at gig volume. To do that, you've just got to get your hands dirty, stand in front of it, get it turned up, and then play through it. Go through all your sounds. And you'll find things that need tweaking to sound right at that volume. Super, super important.
Yeah, indeed. Quantum Vox wants to know, any thoughts on the new Pro Reverb at 40 watts? Would you modify something to fit better your favourite specs? I haven't actually seen it. They've obviously done the Pro again then, have they?
It's the one amp I regret selling.
Yeah.
It was stupid. Why did I sell that? Stupid of me.
What is the Pro? 2 6L6s and 1
Yeah,
by 12?
it's a 40 watt twin.
Half
2
a
by
twin.
12. Half a twin, but still 2 by 12.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, is it? I've only ever seen 1 by 12s.
No, the 2 by 12.
Oh, right.
The Pro Reverb's 2 by 12. I had an old silver face that I modded and had fanes in, and oh man,
Nice.
it was such a sweet amplifier. It was really silly of me to sell that.
What a cool thing.
Yeah, they're really great.
Yeah. Nice. We should try that if it's new. Yeah, that sounds like in a really nice place.
Yeah, it's really.
I'm a
really
big
great
fan
amp.
of 212s.
Yeah,
And for the simple reason that that's what I played for most of my life.
sure.
Yeah, nice. Bobbler42.
Hello, Bobbler.
Hello, Bobbler. Love story. As an English literature student, I've always respected Tate, Nahum Tate knowledge. Stuff. Jay's up a new high watt I ordered in May today. King and Prince of Tone aside, what's the longest it's worth waiting for a piece of gear?
How long's a piece of string? Depends on the gears. Like, I have waited 2 years to get my acoustic guitar done. I'd happily wait another 2 years. I'm so excited about getting this thing. I think as long as you've got an alternative while you're waiting, that's good. But so we have builders like who's got the King of Tone waiting list is really long. Kingsley waiting lists. I don't know how long they are, but I know there are lists. It's just it's all about whether it's worth it for you and whether the wait is worth it for you.
Yeah. And as long as you've got good comms with whoever's doing it. So if everything's gone quiet and you're feeling a little bit worried and they're not communicating with you, that's one thing. But if the comms are there and they're like, yeah, we're on track, you're going to get it by this date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's all right. I actually got ripped off. I got had for the first time, I think, ever. I want to buy a pair of walking boots. There's a really nice brand of walking boots called Mindle.
Right.
And they're crazy money. They're like 300 quid.
And you found some cheap ones?
Because they're fully Gore-Tex. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll buy some military surplus ones because they make for the military.
Right.
And I buy military surplus stuff all the time, like Gore-Tex coats and walking trousers and stuff like that, because it's a really good way to buy really high quality stuff that's sensible price. They were still £100, these boots, but they were unissued.
Right.
Flashy website. It's called Military Ops. Is the website. Nice flashy website. Loads of products. Loads of good reviews on eBay.
Oh, no.
Loads of good. I didn't buy them through eBay stupidly. And did my transaction. Nothing. Emails, phone calls, nothing. So I thought, I know, I'll Google them. Lo and behold.
Oh, bloody hell.
Just so many people going, yeah, it's a complete sham. And I'm like, it's not even the £100 that annoys me,
No.
although £100 really does annoy me. It's the fact that somebody has such a low opinion of themselves and the rest of the world.
Yep. But I think
to
that's
go,
okay.
this is okay.
Yeah.
It's like, what a flipping sad state of affairs that is.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm going to continue to write to them and pursue them.
Yeah. Nothing makes me more angry.
What I hope is it's just a bit of a shambles. And their stock management situation is crap.
Right.
And they're a bit busy.
Right.
And, I don't know, he's having a hard time. I hope it's that.
Okay.
And if it's that and someone comes back to me and says, God, I'm really sorry, we're having a hard time, we'll refund you, or do you want this instead? I can totally deal with that. I don't mind that. But if it is, if military ops, if it is a straight rip-off, that makes me really sad.
Yep. And I don't want this.
Sad. I don't want this.
I don't want this.
Because look, who's in here?
It's a little guy.
No one.
Very good.
Anyway.
How are we doing?
All right. Yeah. Stephen Joseph.
Hello, Stephen.
Thank you for your chat, Stephen. Bev says the voice levels are really low. They've got lower. I've been watching the output and they've got lower. Why is
they
that?
haven't got lower. We've just become, at these volume levels, we're just not hearing what we're used to hearing.
Something is afoot, Daniel.
Okay.
Something is afoot. They have got lower.
Interesting.
I wonder if it's some sort of compressor or limiter that's kicking in a different way.
Right. Maybe we're just saying a lot of words with S in them.
Yeah.
And the de-esser is just going,
I
I'll
think
have
it
you.
is. I'll have you. Bev, thanks for that.
Thank you, buddy.
And there is a very light buzz on the studio monitors. So I reckon it's the de-esser that I've added.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go analog. We're going to go analog soon. Stephen Joseph. Don't seem to have one from you, Stephen. Sorry. We'll see if it comes back.
That's right, Andy. Andy High Tide says, our ears are getting tired. Exactly. That's why it's getting quieter.
John Masters. Hi, John. He says, I just bought an Origin Cali 76. Where's the best place to put it in my signal chain? I currently have a wah into a Stereotone Clon, D&M drive, Free the Tone Sov 2, Mobius flight time delay. Thanks for all you do. So we're going Clon, D&M drive, Matt Schofield drive, or the Sov 2, a Mobius and a flight time. So where would you put the Cali 76 in that?
I'd try it directly after the wah to start with.
Yeah.
Early on in the gain stage. And it depends how you're running things. And depends how you're using the compressor. If I've got a light drive and I want to give it a boost with a bit more limiting, I love a compressor after my drive section. One of the earliest videos we ever did was that, where to put your comp. And if you set the compressor up that it's limiting the way a valve amp limits and you use that as a boost into a really clean amplifier, it can be magic. But if you're using the compressor as like a really squishy country picking type thing, put it right at the front before the gain section. Experiment is the only way. Depends on how you're running your gain, depends on how you're running the compressor.
One thing to listen out for if you do put it before your gain pedals, if you run it with not too much dry signal in, if you run it like mostly compressor signal, what you'll find is the beginning of your notes are clean. And that can be really weird. Funnily enough, in this Friday's video, there's a compressor involved and that is happening.
Oh, wow.
And as I'm
really?
listening to it back, I'm going, yeah, that compressor really shouldn't be there.
Right, wow.
So that could be one thing to listen for. And if that is happening, you can just increase the dry blend, which will let more of the dry signal through and push that overdrive in. Because what's happening, obviously, is you hit the guitar, the compressor ducks it down, and then by the time it hits your overdrive, the front of the note has much less amplitude. I always want to say amplitude, so it doesn't overdrive the pedal as much. So listen out for that, and that will get you to what he was just talking about, whether you want it before or after your overdrives.
Indeed. Copper Audio says, do tellies sound better after whacking a crazed fan attacking the stage? Always.
Keith Richards reference there for anyone who didn't get that.
Very good.
Missing super chat from Kevin Van Noort. Kevin, thank you. He says, hi D&M, I'm a long time listener, first time caller. We have Kevin on from Palm Springs.
Kevin, what would you like to say?
Kevin, could you tell us about your experience? Mick, are you doing a vlog on your Mesa 5050 soon? I'm running the same unit with a JHS Clover and a Koch 63 overdrive as the preamps. Love the show. I am. I have shot a fair bit, actually, most of which I've ditched because everything has changed so much. I'm currently in a state of severe depression about the cabinet. I've spent ages waiting for this cab. And I can't get the flipping speakers in it because 2 of them are broken. And I haven't got time to sort it out. And I'm too busy doing other stuff. So it's just sat there doing nothing. So I need to put some time aside and just do it. But every time I put 2 hours aside, I do it. Something goes wrong and I have to stop again. And I have to go and do something else boring. So I've lost all love for it. I just need to regain the love and pick it up again.
It's called steak.
It's it's one reason why I don't build pedals. Because someone else can do it much quicker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So apologies for the negativity there, but I am just full of it not working. So I just need to bring myself together,
Find your center,
and make it work.
Live your truth.
Yeah, live my truth. Yeah, yeah. And that's it. Yeah. Okay. Love LC Vol 73. Hey guys. At home I use a 65 Princeton Reverb.
Nice.
And my pedals are as follows. Peterson tuner, Sunface, BC183, a Keeley Comp Plus.
Yep, lovely.
A D&M drive.
Yep, lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A Gladio SC.
Nice.
808 Tube Screamer, Echoplex, Ditto Plus, all powered with a Seox DC7.
Yep.
What's the best way to set this up? So this is an effects pedal order question.
I think that order sounds great. So it's not about what pedals are in what order, apart from perhaps the delays and reverbs. It's about how you're using them, because there's your gain stages. There's a huge array of tones
possibility
in there. So a good place to start is start with your higher gain pedals first. Your fuzz needs to be first in the chain as it is. After the tuner, the Peterson has got a really good true bypass, so that will work fine. But then after that, use the pedals from the highest gain to the lowest gain. The reason being is that gives you opportunities then to stack and a higher gain pedal into a lower gain pedal. That lower gain pedal has got more headroom and the higher gain pedal will work into it. So higher gain through to the lowest gain. Now, boosts are really interesting. And I had an amazing conversation the other day with Paul Stacey. And where you put your boost is really interesting. There's a school of thought that says you put your boost as the last gain stage before your delays and reverbs. But there's another school of thought that says if it's a really clean boost, you put it right at the very end after delays and reverbs. The reason being is that once you've got your Mick and I talk a lot about the sounds of delays and stuff that got a lot to do with the preamp in them. So think about that you've got this amazing delay sound set up, and preamp and everything really lovely. Now think about boosting a huge amount of signal into that preamp. What's going to happen? You're changing that gain structure completely. You're going to change the way that delay sounds. instead, if you have your gain stage after your boost, after the delays and reverbs, and you just you take your delays and then you amplify that into the amplifier, that's another really good way to do it. Especially for things like analog delays, tape delays, anything that's got a really sensitive preamp. A lot of digital delays can handle it. But yeah, having boosts right at the end of your signal path could be a really good thing.
Can work, yeah. I'm just looking at your order. The only thing I would do would be to swap the 808 and the D&M drive.
Right.
I'd put the D&M drive last because my side has got a massive headroom boost in it if you want it there, and the 808 for me would want to come a bit further back in the chain because it's less headroomy.
Nice.
So that's the only thing I would change.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck. Jonathan Burton. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello,
He says,
Jonathan.
I've got a Gretsch like Mick's white one, 5422 TG.
Lovely.
2 great tellies, a 50s Vintera Strat, a Silver Sky, a Les Paul 60s Tribute. What's next? Up to 3.5k. My board is huge and in good shape, and my amps are a 63 Super and a Rec.
Boy, oh boy.
Do you mean like a Z-Rec? Or even a train wreck? Either of those things.
Amazing.
Holy moly.
Yep.
So let's see. You've got tellies, Strat, Silver Sky, Les Paul. Well, you need a semi of some kind, I would say.
335.
Yeah.
Go on, have a... So mixed 335. Whenever I play it, it's like, man, I really should have one of these things.
Yeah, you should.
It's such an amazing guitar.
Yeah.
It's the missing link. So for like, if you're into solid bodies and things that have a really lovely transient on them, the 335's got that, but it's sort of warmer and does that.
Yeah, because if you go all the way hollow body, it's such a different thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think 335s are really good.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
Yep.
I would say that would be a good thing for you to get next. I've heard it said secondhand. Ted McCarty told one person who told another person, which means it could have changed by the time it went through those two people, that it was the guitar he was most proud of.
The 335.
Because proper guitar players would play it, and they wouldn't play the Les Paul or the SG.
Wow.
What you've got to remember is at the dawn of the solid body guitar, a lot of proper guitar players thought it was a joke. The session cats.
Yes, of course.
The guys playing the proper stuff in the studios. But they would play the 335, and that's a second-hand story I heard via one person and another person. Both highly credible sources, I would say.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep, 335, Jonathan, and for that sort of money...
you get a great one.
I would pick up a used Memphis one.
Get in.
Because I actually think, of all the ones I've played, of all the Memphis guitars I've played, I prefer them to the new stuff they're making.
Yeah.
In a sort of vintagey way, but that's not to say there aren't great new ones out there, because of course there are. Yeah.
Good luck, mate.
C Graham 97. C Graham 97 says, fellas, I'm looking to get my first modulation pedal. Any recommendations on where to start?
Okay.
Jam Ripley Fall.
Jam Ripley Fall.
It's loads of money, but it's a chorus and a phaser in one.
And the sounds of them individually are spectacular. The sounds of them combined is wonderful.
Yeah.
You may never need another modulation pedal. That's that good.
It's pretty spenny, but then you can always sell it, you see.
Yeah.
Dan and I would urge you to avoid a digital modulation pedal because we just don't like them.
There's, not to say there's anything wrong.
It's the high end.
It's the high end. Right. Man. Okay. To achieve modulation, so you think about the way that we did a show a little while ago about how to turn your delay pedal into a chorus and a flanger, and that the really tiny delay times. One of the things with the digital modulation is it's really tricky because you've got the latency in the digital process. You're already beyond flanger territory. I mean, not completely. Say a 1 millisecond delay, So it becomes a different thing. So what a lot of modulation pedals do to get those sounds is they don't have an analog dry path. They digitize everything, and they can get all those things. And if you don't use, if modulation isn't important to you and you don't use them a lot, so I know a lot of guys in tour have used digital modulations because they just need a flanger in this part of a song,
and you
in this part of the song.
You did use the Moore Elect Lady, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's completely analog.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, God, yeah.
Oh, I just assumed it was digital because it's so tiny.
No.
It's analog.
It's completely analog.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. No.
There, get the Moore Electric Lady.
The Moore Electric Lady is great, but so the digital can be really great, but because modulation's a really big part of the sounds that I love, and
Popeye, spinach, Dan, modulation.
There we go. And I've never, and because I'm so used to those sounds and they're so important to me, I've never heard any digital emulation that really comes anywhere near it. Every time I put the old Mistress back on the board, or Phase 90, or the CE1 and that stuff, it's like, this is everything.
Yeah.
You know, a great thing about the Ripley 4, the chorus and the phaser, just such wonderful sounding effects, but then you can combine them. So, yeah, if you're just starting out, you can get some. I think there's the Moore do a thing called an Orange 90, which is a version of the Phase 90. But if you're willing to throw a little bit of cash at it, really hard to go past the Ripley 4.
The only Ripley 4 I've got to show you is one with custom artwork. It doesn't normally look like this, but this is what the one with custom artwork looks like.
So on the right-hand side is the chorus. Left-hand side is the phaser. The switch in the center doubles the speed, so you can go from a slow phaser to double the speed phaser. It's just a wonderful thing.
Just in case you are wondering about that custom artwork, that is done by John Achenbach of Simpsons fame, and that is actually me and Dan.
I still can't believe that actually happened.
We've had some surreal moments on TPS. That is up there.
Amazing. Amazing.
If you're not worried about any of that stuff, get the Boss MD200.
There you go.
All the modulation pedals in one. Sounds totally fine.
Yep.
Greg Sachs.
Hey, Greg.
Hello, Legends. I got my first valve head, an Egnator Rebel 30.
Lovely. Nice.
I know speaker preferences are subjective, but do you have any tips on a type to start with? I'm into classic and 90s rock.
Vintage Celestion 30.
100% that.
Yep. Just get that and you'll be golden.
Yeah. I would imagine it's probably been designed somewhere close around that speaker anyway.
Yep.
It's a very popular speaker when that amp came out. And it is the sound of a lot of 90s rock, is the Vintage 30. Celestion Vintage 30, popular speaker, available in lots of different cabs. Get that, don't look back.
Totally. Done.
Yeah. John W. Doyle, I got my Harmonious Monk ordered from the TPS store.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
It's the ultimate throbble imminent.
Brilliant.
Thank you both. Thank you, John. It makes a big difference to us. People buying Harmonious Monks goes a long way to helping us fund the show.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Airfire, Ed. Hello, Ed.
Hey, mate.
Ed came to our first experience day. The next experience day is now only a week and a bit away, Daniel.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So if any of you watching this are coming to the next experience day, we look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you. The first one was an absolute blast.
It was blinking brilliant,
it was
wasn't
amazing.
And Ed came, and Ed had some tone revelations that day.
He did. It was wonderful.
He says, I went to a gig with my dad on Friday. It was Sam Brooks. Dad presented me with a Strat DIY Partsacaster for us to build.
That's fantastic.
What a lovely thing, Ed.
Oh, that's brilliant, mate. Well
he says,
done.
Mick, who does the best Sonic Blue paint replica? The artist even signed the backplate. Ed, I don't know much about paint, I'm afraid. I know a bit about vintage colours and who made them. I don't know about modern ones. I would think there's a guy in the US who makes pickups. What's his flipping name? Just massive expert on Fender paint colours. Curtis Novak. Curtis Novak. Google him. He's a super expert on Fender colours. Any of the refinishers might be able to help you. Scott at SC Relics.
Yeah, he's a good shout.
Might be able to help you. Obviously, they're people all involved in selling these things, so they might want to try and sell you something. But the original Sonic Blue was made by DuPont, and I think it has a paint code of Duco 2295. I think is its DuPont paint code. I think so. Start there and work forward.
Indeed.
Yeah. Duco means it's nitrocellulose based, not acrylic. Lucite was the acrylic.
That's amazing.
There you go.
Yeah. Good luck, Ed. Have fun, mate.
Yeah. Chris Groom. Hi, Mick and Dan. No question. Keep up the show. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Wow. Most generous.
Incredibly generous,
wow,
Chris.
Mate. Thank you.
Phenomenally generous. Thank you very much. That will help with Dan and my meat feast this evening.
Indeed. Indeed. No, thanks, Chris. We really appreciate it, mate.
Kevin Van Nort. No question, so perhaps we've missed one here. Kevin Van Nort. Oh, yeah, that was on the Mesa 50/50, so hopefully we answered that for you, Kevin, and I wasn't too sad about it. It will happen, I promise.
Well, Michael Hennessy has said Stu Mac sells vintage Sonic Blue lacquer.
Great.
So there you go. Stu Mac.
Whether
Stu
you
Mac's
can-
so good.
Whether you can send that across the Atlantic, I don't know, but
Right.
there will be an equivalent here somewhere.
But they're great, those guys.
Yeah. Yep. Stuart McDonald, guitar supplies. There's been a question apparently about the Sweetwater affiliate link being no longer in the description. It should be. It's just, it might be, could be one of two things. One is Sweetwater don't sell the thing that we've featured. So, for example, I don't think they do jam pedals. I don't think they do Chase Bliss. So there'll be some stuff they just don't carry. So hence no Sweetwater link. It could be that I've missed it. I've done the
unlikely
tag and bag very quickly and I've just made a mistake.
Unlikely.
But normally what happens is when you look at the links in the descriptions, it will say UK and Europe, which will go to Anderton's, Australia, which will go to Pedal Empire, and USA, which will go to Sweetwater. And pretty soon there will be another link in there, details of which are coming soon. Rambling Rose. But thanks for asking. Michael McFall, hello, I'm looking for a good reverb pedal. I want either a Source Audio or a Strymon. Any suggestions?
You can't go wrong with either. So Strymon, you've got the Blue Sky, is fantastic. But if you want to go reverb and tremolo, you've got the Strymon Flint, and it is absolutely superb.
It's only a spring reverb though. Isn't it?
It's different versions of the spring reverbs, but it's really wonderful. Now, if you want to be more explorative with your reverbs, then you've got the Big Sky from Strymon, which is great. Now, the very first show we ever did featured the Big Sky from Strymon. Really wonderful. And if you want to go even further down that rabbit hole, then you've got the the Strymon
Dark Sky,
which is amazing. So lots of really good Strymon options there. And the other manufacturer was...
correction on the Flint. Dan was absolutely right. It has 60 spring tank reverb, so it's spring reverb.
Yep.
It has an electronic plate reverb.
Yep.
And it has a whole rack reverb. So actually the reverb in the Flint is way, way, way more versatile than I'd realised.
Yeah, really spectacular sounding pedal.
Yep, so apologies for that. Obviously, as he said, you get all of that and more in the Big Sky.
Yeah.
The Blue Sky, which is the smaller one.
Yep. And then the bigger one, the Big Sky, which is programmable with presets, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, Source Audio, we're massive fans of the Collider, which is a delay and reverb in one, and we prefer that to the reverb that Strymon does, the Ventris, because up until recently the Ventris wasn't true bypass, wasn't analog drive-through, but I think it is analog drive-through now, isn't it?
So, the Collider absolutely is analog drive-through.
Yeah.
The Ventris is not.
Didn't they change it?
Oh, hang on. The Ventris might be. Sorry, the Ventris might be the delay.
True spring.
The true spring isn't. I don't think the Ventris is, and the delay isn't. It's the Collider absolutely is. Had a word. So what are you guys doing? Give me analog drive-through. And they said, all right, Dan, here you go. Have the Collider. The reverb sounds in the Collider are absolutely fantastic, as are the delay sounds. So if you want a super flexible reverb and delay pedal in one, Collider
The
is
Ventris is analog drive-through, according to the internet.
Really?
According to the internet, it is.
Okay.
Anyway, so with that being the case, we would absolutely recommend the Source Audio Ventris. But if you want a really nice delay as well, get the Collider. It's flipping brilliant. We use it all the time.
Yep. The other one to consider is the Meris Mercury 7.
Oh, yeah.
So that's gone back on my board.
Oh, yeah.
Two reverbs that I think are the best sounding pedal reverbs ever made.
As a reverb only, I would have that over either of the other two.
Yeah.
Meris Mercury 7.
Yeah. So, the CXM 1978, just the most outstanding, wonderful thing. Meris, who did the algorithms for the CXM, make a standalone pedal called the Mercury 7, and it has a lot of those sounds in there, but it also has the shimmer and, the sort of heavy modulated thing as well. But the Mercury 7 is just mind-blowingly good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. We're done with Super Chats. We have gone over time, so we'll just take one last question from John Parsons, who says, do you guys like the Earthquaker Dispatchmaster? Yes, got one in a box out there.
Yep. Very much.
Yeah, very much. Kind of like everything Earthquaker do, to be fair. We keep saying this, we should have them more on the show, but their pedals are so out there. So I think I personally am a little bit intimidated by them sometimes. It's
hard to give a good representation of what they do, because you take the same Earthquaker pedal and you get 5 people in a room and it'll be something different to each person. What comes out will be just so radically different.
Yeah.
They're so creative.
But something
I love what they're doing.
Again, it is a generalisation, and I apologise for making it. Not everything Earthquaker makes is like an out there crazy thing. Some of their basic fuzzes are exceptional. Yep. The Palisades, which is like Tube Screamer
heaven
cubed.
Yep.
Hang on, I'm going to say it's probably the best there is.
Yeah.
In terms of versatility.
Yeah.
So yeah, big love to Earthquaker. It's one of those brands we should have on the show more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
We good?
I do believe so. It's time for Meat Feast, Daniel.
Indeed. Wonderful.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Really interested to hear what you think of Friday's show. There was going to be some jams going out tomorrow. When we did the band show, we also did a couple of jams, and I've got them ready to go out. I just need to do an introduction. And unfortunately, we're filming tomorrow, so it won't go out tomorrow. It might go out Wednesday or something.
Okay.
I was supposed to do that today and completely didn't.
It's all good.
So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy the show on Friday. Direct Tones again, where we ask that question again, and then onwards.
Indeed.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching.
My old man's a damn nerd, he wears a jewelry hat. He wears gold blimey trousers.